Hello, good afternoon. It's Susie with the Speckled Loon. I am scheduled to go live to do a craft with me in about 2 minutes. I just like to pop on early to make sure everything's running on the technical side of things, and then we'll get going. So if you can just bear with me real quick while I check on my phone. I like to make sure we're on YouTube and Facebook and going, and we'll just double check. It should be going here any second now. How's everybody doing today? I'm really excited. We're going to be talking about our summer um, edition of our quarterly box, and we are going to be painting the barn that's right behind me here. That's what we're going to be making today. So I'm just checking my YouTube and my, okay, it says we're live on YouTube and I see me, so that's good. I'm going to just check Facebook. Oh, and there's sound, so that's good. And I see me on Facebook. Yep. And there's sound there too. So we are good. So I'm going to just quick put my phone on silent, take that away. Hopefully texts or nothing blows up while we're on. Hey, welcome. This is Susie from the Speckled Loon. I'll do our official start here in just a minute. It's 11:59. We're going to go technically at 12 live to paint this little barn that's behind me. I hope everybody's having a great Monday afternoon. It's a beautiful day. We were supposed to go live at 1, and we found out the concrete pour that we are having for a shed that we are putting in our backyard is happening at 1 o'clock, and I didn't want to have all the beep, beep, beep of the equipment going while we were on live. So, okay, I see it is 12 o'clock on the dot. Hi, this is Susie. I am the owner of the Speckled Loon. Welcome to my Facebook page and my YouTube channel. We are going to be painting this little barn today. This little barn is one of the base pieces of our summer DIY Decor quarterly subscription box, which is due to be released right around May 21st. We did an unboxing last week on our Facebook and YouTube pages. You can find that, and I've been posting about it, and I will be doing lives making things for the next week or so. So number one, we're doing the barn today. Tomorrow we're going to be doing this cute little gnome that I've got back here. She's interchangeable, and this is interchangeable as well with 3 different themes. Our box, I'll just show you quick about it. I'm just going to put that back. This box is our summer box, and it's full of unfinished projects. And for instance, everything comes unfinished, unpainted like this, okay? And there are 3 themes to this box. There's little pictures of it right there, but I've got bigger pictures printed out. There are 3 themes and base pieces. So there's the barn we're doing today. This little over here is a cutting board. Or no, is the gnome, excuse me. And on this side is the little cutting board that has different tags. The gnome has a different hat and a different little thing she holds. And the barn's got different things that go in it for each one. So one of the themes is ice cream shop. One of the themes is 4th of July, farm life. So those are the 3 themes that are going to go into this particular box. And that's how all our quarterly boxes are. You have 3 or 4 base pieces and then 3 different themes that change in and out for the season, or if there happen to be holidays, like this one has 4th of July. So those are how our subscription box work. And what happens is I have my dedicated subscribers, and then every quarter when we introduce a new box, I open it up for a few new ones. So scrolling down at the bottom here, you will see the speckledloon.com/waitlist. That is where you go to get on that wait list, so that when we release our new box, then we go ahead and release it to the wait list first. And if there's any other openings, then after we give them ample time to try, then we do it to the general public. So to get in on the new boxes, you really need to be on that wait list. That is your best bet. So we are going to get ready here to start painting. I'm doing it kind of quickish today. If you are here, please say hi in the comments. Tell me where you're tuning in from. I love to know that. I see we've got a couple people with us today, and I'm excited to see where you're from. If you don't want to say anything, that's fine, but it's just a little wave or a hi that just helps my engagement, lets me know that you are with us. So, anyway, what we're doing today again is we are painting and making this barn. So, I'm going to get set up and we're going to have a little overhead camera. I'll continue to talk, but what you're going to see is my hands working on the project here on the table. I don't have two cameras, I'm not that fancy. So, I have a fancy little kind of a fancy, fun little tripod tool that I use. So I'm just going to put a couple things away and get things out of the way, and we are going to start to do some crafting. So I've got this little thing that's going to hold the camera, and I have it marked where I need it to be. And I'm going to get this going so it's pointed down. Okay, you should be able to see that. Try to get this cord out of the way. So this is what we are working on today. And since we kind of have limited time due to I have a hard stop at 1 o'clock, I'm going to scoot through a couple things. But we're going to be painting this barn. And we are going to be using red and white paint. These are from, you can get these in a smaller size at Walmart. It's just chalk paint. You can use regular acrylic paint too. And then in this kit, your bonus crafting tool is a distress kit. And it is this antique wax, this little emery board, and these two brushes. And we're going to do this to get that kind of wood look to the barn. So it won't be quite so freshly painted red. It's going to be more of an antique, dirty look to it. So that's what this is going to be used for. So this is some antique wax, an emery board, and two brushes. And this comes as your bonus crafting tool in your kit. We also, since this is our birthday box, it's the 1-year anniversary of our kit, you get this fun bonus of a done for you garland. Okay. And that's going to be in there as well. So that is your bonuses in this kit. We always throw in some fun extra bonuses. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to start painting on the barn base just to kind of show you how things work in our kit. And then I've got a completed painted spot, one that we're going to do and go through that. But just so you can see on this, it has got these fun scored in lines that are going to give it a little dimension. And then it's got these little bit lighter placement items where we can place so we know where to put our circle, our little hayloft door, all those things are on there. So I'm going to show you how I paint the base piece and then bring back these lines so they're not filled back up with paint. And to do that, I do in your kit, you get some toothpicks, or you can just use a straight pin that's even thinner. And I'm going to probably use a straight pin today just to kind of show you how easy that is as well. Also in your kit, you do get some of these nice little, they're very dense foam makeup wedges. Hello, Heidi. And Heidi's one of my customers joining us, and she's saying hi, and I appreciate her coming on. So we're going to go ahead and dip it in some red paint. I've got my red and white paint here ready. And I like to dip the sponge in, and I don't overload it when I'm first starting. I kind of like to get a feel for it. Sometimes I'll even dab it off on here, but I just start painting and going, and this goes on very nicely, as you can see. And I'm trying not to shake the camera as I go. Okay. And then as I go, while the paint is still wet, if I feel like there's paint getting in these crevices, I just take either my toothpick or my straight pen and just go right through those lines like that. Now, when it's a base piece like this, I often will go and do 2 coats. 2 coats is the norm for me. But you can see how this color red, it goes on pretty good. You may only need 1 coat. Usually if you're doing a yellow, for some reason yellow is one of those colors that doesn't cover that great, then you might have to do 2 coats. But this is going on pretty nicely, as you can see. And what the nice thing about these sponges is you can go right up to the edge and you don't get a lot of bleedage or overage on it if you're going light on the paint. If you're globbing it on, you're going to get it on the sides, and you don't want to get a lot in these little holes because this is where your glue is going to go and everything's going to set up for the little fence piece and everything. So like I said, since we are on a little bit of a time crunch, I've got this one started, right? Once I do 2 coats, this is like those TV cooking shows. This is what you're going to end up with. This is the barn, and I've gone through and I've scraped everything, and this is nice and dry. So now we can do some distressing on this. Then also on these pieces, I have already pre-painted these pieces white. So you don't have to sit and watch me paint all day. I think the fun in these projects is adding the accents and putting them together. Just applying paint is like just applying paint, right? But making it look like wood or doing accents and distressing, that's kind of what brings it to life. And I am going to show you a couple of things with this antique wax. So this, and I will show you on the white here. Here's an unfinished piece of the fence. When you're working on anything with these holes or anything like that, again, I get a little bit of paint on here, and then I'll just kind of daub it off. So as you can see my sponge, it's kind of hard to tell with the white, but it's not terribly loaded up. And then I just tend to just kind of dab it on like this. And you see, you still get really nice coverage, and you can spread it out once it's on there. But if you glob it on with a big amount of paint, it just globs up everything, and you don't get a nice even coverage. And we're not going really for texture on this. We just want to get nice coverage. And if you happen to get a little bit in those where the paint is going to go or where the glue is going to go, you can just take your toothpick that I provide and scoop it out while it's wet, and then it's fine. Okay, so that is how these pieces with the holes and everything, that is how you do those. The other way you can paint those items is with your paint markers. So this is, oh, I hear they're doing things already outside. Hopefully that isn't a disturbing noise. There's some kind of jackhammering going on. So hopefully, but this is a white marker, and you can paint on your items with paint pens. It's a white paint marker. This is the new Sharpie Create With Me markers, and I think that's actually the gray. But anyway, that is how that goes on with a marker, and it takes marker paint really well as well. So we are going to get to doing some distressing. Oh, yeah. Heidi just said this. I'm going to just put this comment up here. She likes to use a craft knife. She's got a little craft knife she likes to use. Lord, can you run a mouse today? To get the lines. So that's good too. I include the toothpicks, straight pin works. If you have one of those really fine craft knives, and I would say, and I don't know where you got yours, Heidi, but I know the Dollar Tree has kind of a nice little craft knife set for $1.25 if you don't want to spend a ton of money on something. The other thing I was going to show you quick was this antique wax on the shelf. I have painted this shelf. This is going to go on the bottom white, but I'm thinking it will look a little bit better. Oh, now they're running something and the hose. I tell you, this is what I get for trying to plan something. You put a little bit of this antique wax on, this MDF, and it instantly turns it a nice, looks like a stained brown piece of wood. That's what I like about this antique wax. It's got a translucent quality to it. I don't know if how well it shows up on camera, but it goes on super easy. And I just wipe it. I just put it on there, and then I just spread it out with a rag. And this is, I use this all the time, and it's like finally I included it in a kit because I thought, everybody should have this to try to see if it's something in their toolkit that they would like to have. So that is what this looks like after just that one little coat of antique wax, a little squirt. So what we're going to do on this barn is, this barn is beautiful, right? This beautiful red, but it's much too, if you've been on a barn, ever been on a farm, it's much too bright red, right? So I'm going to take antique wax, and I'm just drizzling it on over the top, and I'm just going to spread it all over, and it's going to look like a hot mess for a minute. And then I'm going to take another rag that's a little bit drier, and I'm just going to rub it in and wipe off the excess. Now, I don't worry so much about down here because this is not going to show. And the reason that's not going to show is that's where the little shelf goes. So this might look, oh, Susie, what did you just do to that beautiful red barn? But hold on a minute. I'm going to find a section of my rag that is not saturated. And I'm going to start just really blending that in. And you can see it's going to look better here in a minute already. I'll get it a little bit farther away from the camera. But you can see where actually that antique wax has settled into those scored lines. And it's got a little bit of a sheen to it for a hot minute till it dries. But really, it's just got, you can see the contrast. This is that bright red, and this is that dark red. Now, the other thing you can do with your distress kit comes with these fun little brushes, right? They're this stiff bristle, almost like back in the day, those stencil brushes when we used to stencil. That's what this is, okay? And you can get some neat little accents on by taking your white, putting in your white, and daubing it off till it's just a very little coverage on there. And you're going to, I hear things in the background. Hopefully it's not too disturbing. And wiping it off. And then if you go over your, just very lightly, you get a little bit of a wood look to it. And if it's too bright and stark, all you need to do is come over it again with either some of your red paint or a little bit of the wetter part of your thing here with your antique wax, and kind of just blend it in, and then you get more of a muted effect. Now, the other part of your distress kit that I've included in here, and when we get this all set up, this is going to look more and more like wood, okay? So the other thing you can do to mute things down a bit is I have included an emery board. And if you just go along the edges, then you get that worn look. I don't know how well that shows up. And you can go over the middle here and scuff it up. And again, if you hear anything in the background, we've got a concrete pour going on today in our backyard, right outside this window. And my son is over here doing prep work for it. So, and it's supposed to start at 1 when I had this originally scheduled. And so I moved this up to noon. And of course, he's over here, you know, at noon doing stuff. So that's just the way it goes. So that's kind of how I prep up the barn to get that kind of woodish look. Okay. Now, if you want to, also, you can kind of go like this along the edges and you get more of a look, if you can see. And that's what these brushes are. And you get 2 sizes of these brushes, which is really nice. I really like the small and the larger size because you can get different effects, lighter, darker, etc. So that is how the barn is painted. And I'm going to show you how to put it together here in a minute. So I'll talk a little bit about our subscription box too. Our subscription box what I'm going to do is I am going to get the other sides of my fence coated in the antique wax because I like that look of finished inside and outside. And while I'm doing that, I'm just taking a little bit of this antique wax. I could put it on with this brush if I wanted and then spread it around, or I can just spread it around right from the rag. But our boxes come out 4 times a year. They are a quarterly box. And the nice thing about our box is it is seasonal / holiday. And if there isn't a lot of holidays going on during that season, I will throw in maybe an everyday look to it or whatever. And our boxes launch every May 21st, August 21st, November 21st, and then our spring boxes come out February 21st. And the cost of the box is $65, plus if you're not local to me, there is a bit of shipping and handling on there as well of $9.50. And you get everything in your box except for the paint that you want to use. And the reason I do that is the paint is kind of like a personal choice. People have paint that they like to use. I like to use chalk paint. Some people like to use that small little 2-ounce bottles of acrylic paint you can get for like 50 cents at Walmart. Any of that works just fine. Everybody has paint that they like to use, and that's and a preference. So I'm not going to tell anybody what colors they want to use. Maybe somebody wants a brown barn or a black barn or a gray barn or a white barn. That's fine. I'm going to paint mine how I want to paint it and show you examples. And then you can go ahead and paint how you want to. For instance, is a Halloween set. I had a friend do it with those pretty teal pumpkins instead of orange pumpkins. Just things like that. Okay, so paint not included, but every box always has a crafting tool in it. Like the crafting tool for the last box that we did for spring that came out. It was a tassel maker, and I gave you yarn to make a tassel, and then you can use it for future items. And this kit has got this antique wax, the 2 brushes, and the emery board. So it's that distress kit. So now if I wanted, I could do a little distressing with the antique wax and the white here. And I think I will on the fence just because, right? Because it's the front of a fence, and that's going to take the brunt of the weathering from the animals, that type of thing. Okay, so I'm just going to wipe just a little bit on there and then wipe it off. That's the fun thing, is to wipe it off and it kind of just lands in the crevices. So that is all our fence pieces ready to go and our base pieces. We are now ready to start putting our little barn together. So again, I've got a couple people watching. If you're here, wave, say hi. I'm excited to see what you think of this barn. But if you are excited about our subscription box and you want to learn more about it, there's no cost to join our wait list. Our wait list is scrolling just right below. This comes weird, but just right at the bottom of the screen. You'll see it there, way at the bottom of the screen. It's the speckledloon.com/waitlist. And it's also, if you look up in the comments of this video, okay? So you can just do that. You get on the wait list, and then when I have openings, then you hop on, and you are the first to know when it's available. I send you an email, and you have first crack at getting it before I send it out to the general public. I usually give you about 4 or 5 hours, and then I just do an ad campaign and hopefully fill my spots to the general public. So all of our pieces, we're going to put our barn together now. All of our pieces go together with glue. I give you the glue. I'm using a little bit of a different glue now. It's the glue I use to put together all my pieces. The glue I use is this right here. My fingers are fried. Hold on just a second. Look like I've been eating a hot fudge sundae or something by hand. I like to just clean up with these little makeup wipes or baby wipes. They do a really good job. And I hear, like I said, I hear that construction stuff going on outside. So I'm going to probably be finished up pretty quick today. I don't want to have you guys hearing the beep, beep, beep of the cement truck as it comes in. But this is how I clean up as I go along. So, okay, that's better. Now it doesn't look like I've been rubbing myself in a Hershey bar. Okay, there we go. So I use this, it's called Star Bond Thick glue. It's a super glue, and it's got this nice, see this super fine applicator tip? It's great. Okay, and I'm going to be using these little clamps to kind of hold things down. That was one of our bonus crafting tools. I think in our winter box, we gave you some clasps like this and a couple other things. And we're going to do that, and I'll show you how everything kind of comes together. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm just going to set this base aside for just a second. We're going to get the parts of our shelf ready to go. Okay, so this shelf, you need to know, these are the parts that you want pointing upwards. All right, the little fence pickets, and this is going to be at the bottom. So I like to get that going first. Okay, and then what we're going to do here is we are going to assemble our side pieces onto the bottom base, and then we're going to glue the front to it, and then we're going to take the whole thing and glue it into the barn. Okay, so if you see there's these notches here, these indents, and here it goes better on the white. These little parts here on these indented pieces, that's where your glue is going to go, and it's going to go right into this little slot here, and on the inside I'm going to do glue on that as well. So I'm going to kind of try to show this on camera as best as I can. It's always hard. Hello, if you're just joining us, please say hello in the comments and where you're tuning in from. But this little applicator tool or tip on this glue gets it on there nice and fine. Okay, so I'm going to take this, and it's kind of easy to remember what is my inside and my outside because I've got my inside colored that brown. I've got my outside colored that painted white. Okay, so now I'm taking this and I'm taking my base piece and I'm just getting it right in that slot. I'm going to have to take it off camera here for a second so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. I got that base piece right in that slot, and see the nice tight fit you get right away, right there. Okay, and if you want, you can press down like that. But this is all pre-cut and pre-engineered to fit together. Okay, so now I'm going to take the other side, and again, I'm just doing right on here the teeniest little bit of glue, and it's really all you need, and it's a snug fit too. So again, this is my pointing up part. I've got to remember that. Get that on camera so you can see what I'm doing, and then you've got that nice snug fit. Okay, so that is what it looks like with the two sides on it. Now our next step is to get this on here. Okay, so here I need to get all these little notches filled with glue, and you really only need a drop or two of each on each one, and it's going to get a nice snug fit for you. So I'm going to do on this long notch as well. And if you can't see anything on camera, sometimes I got to take it off camera so I can see. I've got bad eyes. My longtime viewers know this, that I've got the vision of a fruit bat, basically. So I need to always take it off camera to kind of do my close-up work, and then I'll bring it back and show you. But now on here, I'm going to go on the inside and just do a bit of glue wherever it's going to slide in. So on my notches, and it's going to be on this lower notches here. So I'll do a little bit of glue there. And if you're wondering, oh, that looks like it's hard, it's not. And we have a full video tutorial on YouTube on how to do this. So it does not end up being difficult at all. Okay, I'm going to just do my quick off-screen line up here, and then I'll bring it back on. get it started usually. And if this ever, like, you get it too gooped up with paint, if you have a little rubber mallet, it usually goes in there just fine. Things are revving up outside, folks. Okay. Put my a little rubber mallet and it will snap into place. And of course I didn't bring one, but I'm getting it though. There we go. There, now there's the snap. So there's the front part of your shelf for your barn. See how quick that was? Wasn't bad at all. Okay, still a little bit of glue oozing out. You can take your, I give you some nice little Q-tips, or you can take your sponges or toothpicks, anything to kind of clean that out. If you wanted to, on the bottom, you could run a little bead of glue here, but it's actually quite sturdy, as you can see already. So the last part here is just get it snapped right into the front of your barn. Okay, so again, I'm just going to come over here on these notches and put my glue in. And wherever there's a notch, I just do a little couple dots or a little string of the glue. And your glue comes in a little tube, and there's a fine applicator tip on that. And if it's not fine enough, what you can do is you can take some glue and get it on the end of a toothpick. And then go in where you want to put glue with the toothpick and just get it in there. So you can get very fine, like I'll put right there and right there, if you just need a bit of glue. Okay, so then on the barn, you can see this is all engineered to just go in. And I'm going to just do a bit right there in those notches there, just to get an extra bit in there. Okay. And then this all just fits right in. And again, there. Okay. So then you've got your shelf in there. And what I like to do, because this is too big to clamp with these mini clamps, I like to just give it a good firm pressing down for a couple of minutes. If you are watching, please tune in. I'm just going to check comments while this is drying. Tune in and say hi. Hi, Stacy. I've got some of my box members on here, and they know they've got some written instructions usually, and then they get the more detailed instructions. And we've had several base pieces now, and they all kind of go together similarly. So it's really not hard. It looks very impressive when everything's put together, but nothing is tough, and it's easy to make an accent and do your own thing with it. Okay. I hope you've got something good for lunch. If you're eating your lunch, let me know what you're eating. I ate mine early so I could be on here with y'all. So, okay. So I'm going to take it and clean up my area a little bit. We got every shade of paint here. Okay. So there we go with that. So it's starting to look like a barn, right? Okay, so I like to get my roof pieces on next. So this has got a peaked roof that goes up here, and I like to call this the hip roof that goes right there. I like to do a dry fit before I do any glue to just kind of make sure everything goes on and see how everything lines up before I before I get it with the glue. You've got a few seconds to work with this glue, but you don't have a lot. What I like to do is kind of get my fingers up on the edges, make sure I've got a nice, I'll hold it like this so it's lined up at the top and it's lined up on either side. And then once I'm kind of familiar with it, then I like to go ahead here. Oh, you're having pizza, Stacy. Good for you. I had a chicken sandwich. I'm trying to watch what I eat. So I get that rotisserie chicken from Sam's. We don't have a Costco here, but we have a Sam's. I get that rotisserie chicken, and then I cut it up and then stick it in the fridge. And then all week long, I've got my meat cut up for sandwiches and for salads, because I get the big thing of the lettuce too. So what I'm going to do here now is I am looking to make sure, okay, I'm lined up side to side. I am lined up edge to edge. That looks good, like I'm not off center at all, because these are engineered to fit pretty precisely. And then once I feel like I've got it on there good, I can just do this with my clamps and then go to work on my next piece. So the next thing here, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there is a scored in circle. This is going to go on that scored in circle, and that's what holds the little rooster thing, or the little things right at the top. I'll see if I can find one here. This is for the farm set. It's a rooster. It's got a magnet on the back. There's going to be a little metal disc that goes in here, and then that clicks right in there for each set. So I'm going to work on that quick. And how are we doing for time? 12:34. Okay, and we don't have anything buzzing right now, so we're good. So here is that thin piece. Here's again where if you didn't have a real fine applicator, you could use that toothpick to just put your glue on. But usually it's pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to take this off camera for just a second to make sure I'm lined up on my circle. Like I said, there's an etched in circle on there, so you get it precisely placed. And you can see on the inside there's another little circle. That's where that metal disc is going to go. I've got it taped down here so I wouldn't lose it, because I'm famous for losing small pieces. You just put a little bit of glue right in the middle here of that etched in circle, and I'll bring it up close so you can see it again. Okay, then you get this in. It's less, I mean, it's not even the size of a dime. It's just this little, that's probably, I think it's like a 1/2 inch round metal disc. And it doesn't have to stay exact in that circle, but you just want to get it in there as close as possible. And then your little magnetic piece, I'll wait till it's dry, but it's going to suck right in there and be seated in there and attach nicely. So if you move it around, it's not going to come off. Okay. So next I'm going to do the hip roof part. Then we've got the loft door, and then we're done. And this loft door, if you'll notice, that was painted white, but again, it has all these parts in it already scored in, so you can get all that fun little detail on that loft door. So here is the hip roof, and that is a bigger part. And again, I'm going to just kind of do my due diligence here and line everything up and make sure it looks good and get familiar so it looks decent once it's on. I always say practice makes as close to perfect as possible. Sometimes practice makes bad habits, but I like to always do a lineup of things before I commit it with the glue, because once you're committed with the glue, you are committed. And there's ways to fix things afterwards, but I'd rather get it right the first time than have to fix it on the back end. Okay, so I'm going to kind of get it lined up visually on one side. Whoops. And that's pretty good. Get my ends. I'm not doing a big press down yet. There we go. You can see I let it touch, and I got little drips of glue there, but if you get them off right away, you're good. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm just going to take my clamps and do that. Okay, as you can see, this is on there super tight. This is on there super tight. Okay, now we just have one piece left, and our barn is going to be ready to roll. Now, you might wonder how long it takes you to do one of these kits. Here is how I do one. I always have to make a sample one before I offer it to the general public, so I kind of test things out. So here's how I do mine. I like to do all my big base pieces first, and that's maybe, less than an afternoon, but I'll spend, gathering my supplies, getting things ready. Hi, Cindy. And so that'll take an afternoon. And then I like to do a theme each after that. So that a theme is like all the farm life items, all the 4th of July items, something like that. So I like to do that. And so I might spend one afternoon on each theme, or I might knock a bunch, 1 or 2 out in it. So I would say if you can allot yourself 2 to 3 afternoons, you can get your kit done. And they don't have to be all at once, but if you get your base piece done at once and the first set you want to do, et cetera, then it's just that much easier. Now this lock door also has a scored out spot right where it goes. I'm just going to bring it close to my eyes here off camera to get it on line and lined up. Okay. That looks good. Nice and straight. That's what's nice too. It just like you get such a nice looking result with all these things already lined up. Oh, and Susan's on too. Hi, Susan. She's from Florida. I bet it's getting warm in Florida though, right, Susan? And Cindy. Sorry you're late. That's fine. I came on early, so there we go. Like I said, it's excitement coming to our place today. We are doubling the size of our shed in the backyard, and we have got the concrete pour going on for the shed today. And we've had it ready to go for a couple of days, but my son called and scheduled it, and you just have that on when the concrete people can come. They come. They don't care about my live schedule. So now you can see how this looks all put together. I think it looks so sharp. And if you needed to do more distressing on it, you could go ahead and do that, a little more sanding. But this distress kit, I think you members that are on, you're really going to like it. Again, this is your crafting tool bonus this time. It's this antique wax that you see me use all the time in my videos, this emery board, and these 2 distress kind of stiff bristle brushes. Okay, you're going to get all that in there. And then your other bonus piece, again, is this really cute garland. So I'm going to tuck in I'm going to keep this garland out here for a visual effect. And I'm going to lay the other pieces out with this so you can kind of see what everything looks like. We'll just do kind of the farm life stuff because that will be easy to do. So here's what we're painting tomorrow. Tomorrow we're doing this little gnome. She comes with a stand. She also comes with hats for each theme. So this is her farmer hat. And then she holds carrots. And like for the 4th of July, she's holding a star. For the other one, ice cream shop, she's got an ice cream cone. So there's that. Okay. Then we've got, I'm just bringing things in random here. Here's our little insert. Here is our banner. Our banner's coming in, and the banner goes on with these little hooks, just like this. Okay. I hear the people starting to gather for our construction project, so we'll go quick as we can. Okay, here is our farm life banner. And that just hangs right on the front of that fence like so. One of our inserts, which is this animal stack. The other of our inserts for this set is this little windmill. And then another one is this little farm. See, he's holding eggs. Isn't he cute? Little farmer gnome. He goes in there. And then the last thing we have is our cutting board tag. I just got to take the 4th of July one off and put the farm life one on. So the farm life cutting board tag is this fun little rooster on a tobacco basket background. So I'll just kind of wind that around like that. We won't, and this has a stand, so it stands independently. And normally you tie that on. So this is what the Farm Life one looks like with the barn. And I think that's kind of fun because it's with the barn. I'll get this out of the way so you can get a good look at it. And like I said, tomorrow we're going to get together. We are going to paint that gnome. I'll have a couple of her hats pre-painted, but I'll paint one and distress one for you so you see what that looks like. But that is everything that we're going to work on today. I am going to just move the camera back so you can see my face and not just my hands. And we'll just wrap up for today, and we will have another session tomorrow where we make our gnome. Hi. Thanks for joining me. This is Susie from the Speckled Loon. Again, today we were making the barn. We made this little barn from our summer box. And tomorrow we are going to be making the gnome. And we'll be doing, and then on Wednesday we are going to draw for the winner of our contest. I'm just going to talk about that real quick. I am giving away this DIY Decor kit box full of bee decor. It's our honeybee DIY decor set. This is what the unfinished projects look like, and this is what the finished projects look like, okay? You've got this fun gnome, and then you can also hold this honey pot. It's interchangeable. You've got this cute little beehive, a bee sign, a honey pot, this little honey dipper, and then this pretty garland. That's all in there, along with all the paint and everything to make this kit. It's a prize, so I throw the paint in and everything. And you can see how jam-packed this is, full of all the fun little things that you get to make. So we are giving that away. And to win this kit, you just enter. It's at the top of the comments, Ken. And we will talk about all of that again tomorrow. But I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you like these craft with me sessions. They're kind of fun. I love being creative and crafting with you. And that's why we have a subscription box so we can do things like this with our customers and share in the fun. And I hope you enjoyed yourself. And this is available on replay. So if you're catching me on the replay, just still leave a comment and we'll interact. And I appreciate you joining us. And if you have any questions about the kit or anything, feel free to just message me and reach out and we'll talk. But you guys have a great afternoon. I'm going to go out and help with the concrete pour on the shed. And I'll give you a report on how it went tomorrow. You guys have a great day and happy crafting. We'll see you on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central. Bye for now. Susie from the Speckled Loon.